So the Yankees are in town, and immediately it popped into my head was that very, very frustrated rant that I had right before the last game against the Dodgers. That kind of like was the start of the Giants playing well. And so I'm like, what was I so upset about that day? And it wasn't as simple as just, hey, Giants, play better. It wasn't just as simple as, hey, Giants, land a big free agent, or all the stuff that we've talked about, the city of San Francisco. It was feeling like a lesser than franchise, bothered by the fact that when the Dodgers are in town, you go over to Oracle Park, and there's Dodgers fans everywhere, and that's fine because you may not know this. There are Giants fans everywhere at the games at Dodger Stadium. That's part of our geography and our way out here, so that's all good. But what really gets to me is that there is some sort of civic pride that is now missing. It's missing from our population, and I can feel it maybe with Giants baseball more than in any other pocket of what we talk about. And that is to say that when the stadium half fills up with Dodger fans, that Giants fans, and I was mad at the organization for putting us fans in this spot, Giants fans are out there lacking confidence, lacking the ability to say anything to the Dodger fan that they end up sitting next to, and going to the game with a, aw shucks, I just hope we don't get swept sort of a mentality. And all of those feelings have been brought back up today with the Yankees coming to town. And it got me thinking about who the Yankees actually are. And I started thinking about Notre Dame, Dibs.
Yeah.
I started thinking about Notre Dame, a huge brand that has a fan base that is so flipping braggadocious. And I'm like, what have you won in the last 20 years? Why are you swaggering everywhere you go? How old do you have to be to still think you are the bee's knees? And
probably 30.
With the Yankees?
Last time they won a title was 00. So if you're 30.
09.
09 they won it, yeah.
09.
So yeah, if you're 30,
yeah,
then that was 15 years ago. You'd be 15 then.
Yeah.
So maybe 25.
How tapped in are you as a 15-year-old? How old are you, Grandy? How old are you?
27.
28.
Just
over the weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, donuts. Remember? Yeah. Happy birthday, Grandy.
Thanks.
Your son is 10, and he's pretty tapped in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember the Yankees winning in 09.
Okay. And do you remember the Giants winning in 10, 12, and 14? Right? Like the Yankees win more games. I'm not like saying the Giants are the Yankees. Like that's absurd. The Yankees play a completely different brand. They're the rock stars of baseball. Although I'd argue right now that the Dodger brand in the last decade could give them a run. But this is kind of what I'm getting at. So I got a buddy out here, but he's from New York. And I saw him last weekend. And we're sitting in the sun. Kids are everywhere. Food's out. Everyone's having a great day. It's Memorial Day. And he kind of gives me the, hey, Yankees coming into town next weekend. I mean, sorry about the steamroll that you're all about to get. Gosh, I hope that somebody with the Giants, I don't know, maybe gets a hit or does something interesting this weekend. And I took it the way that, you normally would. He's a very good friend. So, yeah, we'll see. He's like, are you guys even over 500? Yes. Over 500, just take a chill, like what the whole thing. And then it took me till today to start thinking about it. What are you bragging about, dude? What did the Yankees. Oh, we're supposed to be just terrified because the Yankees are here. It's a good baseball team, very, very good record this year. We don't have to play them every day. You can play them 3 times. The Phillies came in with just as good of a record. Giants won 2 out of 3. I don't want Yankee fan coming into this building tonight, and they will, taking over the sound, taking over the vibe, taking over the confidence of this entire building tonight. Why? Based on what? You ain't won crap for 15 years. Why?
It's because they're a bigger brand than the Giants, and they've got bigger stars than the Giants, and Yankee fan doesn't get to see him out here ever. This is their second visit since the ballpark's been open, so there is a certain amount of specialness that will happen over the next 3 games, and Yankee fans will be out in larger numbers than they probably would be otherwise because they never get to see their team here. And so that's going to lead to the sound being a little bit more pro-Yankee than it otherwise would be, even for the Dodgers, who are here twice a year, every year.
I don't know about that. More than when the Dodgers are in town?
I think it's going to feel more special for Yankee fans. Yeah. I'm not saying there'll be more Yankee fans than there are Dodger fans, but if you're a Yankee fan, this is a big deal because if you're a transplant and you live out here and you're a Yankee fan, this is your chance to see the Yankees. And it doesn't matter to a Yankee fan if it's been 15 years since you won the World Series. You're the Yankees. You have the most World Series. You're the number one brand in the sport. And you're right, the Dodgers might be right alongside you. You've got some of the biggest stars in the game. If you mention the top 10 stars in baseball, the Yankees and Dodgers probably have 7 or 8 of them. And so if you're the Yankees, you're talking about the guys who you have, and you're feeling good about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not the same as it used to be. Like, you and I, we remember.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody does. Hey, Grandy, do you feel like the Yankees are something just completely different than all the other teams in baseball?
I think it feels that way. It feels more special than any other road team coming in.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm 49 years old. I get it. I'm not here to argue that historically they're not. I guess this is a question that goes alongside what Steiny was asking us in the crossover yesterday. Remember what he asked us? How long does the Warriors championship last? To where you can walk around and be like, recent championship. All right. How much does Yankee history matter? Because they haven't done squat in a long time. The Giants have won 3 times since the Yankees won. So does that history, which was very different in the 50s and the 60s, and then again even in the 90s, is very different than what it really is right now. Sure, they're always going to be at the top of the arc in terms of spending. They're going to have name value. Yes, they've got cachet, branding, I understand. But at a certain point, that does start to fall a little bit more flat. I'll go back to my Notre Dame analogy. Notre Dame doesn't scare anybody anymore when they come in. You know who thinks they do? Notre Dame people. If you've ever been to a game at Notre Dame, the press box is nauseating. It's nauseating. They still think they are the deal in college football. They have no idea that Alabama and Ohio State and Clemson and Michigan dwarf their butts now. No clue. And I wonder if the Yankees are not at least on their way to Notre Dameville, because their history is more recent, but is getting further away.
But if you look at their history, they make the playoffs every year. They've gone 10 of the 14 years since they won the World Series. So unlike Notre Dame, who is not usually in the college football playoff, they make a bowl game. And they've been in the playoff a time or two, but Notre Dame is not what it was when they were winning national championships on the regular. The Yankees are at least a playoff team. And you go back to the last 14 years, and they've only missed it 4 times, including last year. And you do look at the names on the lineup sheet and the pitching staff, and they're known commodities. So that does lead to them feeling like they're a bigger deal than certainly Notre Dame, where you've got roster turnover and the rest of it.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but if I take away Judge and Soto, how many Yankees could you name?
Probably 0, Mark.
Okay.
There's Giancarlo Nossi Posto Puesto.
Okay, who's not really that good.
No.
He's huge, and he hits one maybe a couple times a week, but he's not that good of a player. They got
the young shortstop, Joyce, who he was drafted the same year as Kyle Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, he was drafted with Hunter Bishop.
Yeah.
Because he was one of the names where I was looking yesterday at the draft classes, and he's a guy who has actually come up and done well.
Yeah. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, that's enough as far as a core. They are 2 of the most important players in all of baseball. But I don't think it's like it used to be. And you know this, and a lot, Grandy, maybe some of you listening were pups. That team in the late 90s, you could do the whole lineup.
Yeah.
you knew the whole lineup.
Well, that was baseball too.
Burn,
then,
baby, Burn, and Jorge Posada. It wasn't just
Paul
Jeter,
O'Neill and all the rest.
O'Neill. Yeah. You could go. You could do the whole lineup. Judge, Soto, and
but yet they're the best team in baseball.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I'm not arguing that they're not good. They're obviously very good.
And I obviously don't follow them as closely as I do the Giants, so I don't know if that's necessarily a fair way to look at, how many Brewers could you name or how many Braves could you name outside of Acuna Jr.?
Like as many as the Yankees, at least. In fact, I think I could probably name more Braves than Yankees. I really do. Matt Olson and Austin Riley, and I could go down that lineup. Now, we see it more often.
You know that Rodon is having a great year with New York.
I do. He won the game for him yesterday. I'm glad to see that he's pitching well again. He's healthy.
Yep.
Good for him, But this lineup that's coming to town, it's got two huge names. And then there's just a bunch of stuff. As far as branding is concerned.
Right. The brand is the uniform, and the brand is the city, and the brand is the team, more than it is, guys 1 through 25.